things all day, whether that's traffic cameras or finding a new way to load Cobalt strike a system. I'm also a magician, so usually I don't bring that up in anywhere, but it's kind of important for this talk. So it's actually an interesting story about how I got into magic. So I got a relationship, I was a young guy, I'm socially awkward, not great with people, and I didn't know how to talk to women. So I was like, you know what, how about I read every book on how to talk to women, and I'll learn magic, because women love magic. It worked, I got engaged.
Hey, congrats.
All right, so we can talk about the cheat codes of social engineering. So you've got like the Jedi mind trick, you've got neurolinguistic programming, Frogs and Princes by Ralph Bader. It's a pretty good book on creating feedback loops and like how to manipulate people, like exploiting the human firewall. You've got that fake it till you make it mentality where you come in, you say, well, I am this guy and I'm gonna be this guy until, finally you believe yourself. You got misdirection and sleight of hand. There's this really cool thing called verbal judo, where it's like disarming people with your words. Yeah. How about I show you guys kind of a demonstration of this? Maybe some card magic. So you learn how to read people being a magician. You learn how to see like facial cues and tells and learn what people are doing and like why they think the way they think. So who would like to assist me with this? Who's the best liar in the room? This guy. He is excited. All right. Give these things a good shuffle here. All right, I love it. And you just tell me when to stop. You say stop whenever. Stop. All right, right there. Perfect. So we take the card, it's in the middle of the deck. Take that. Good. Look at it. Yep. Show it around. Don't show me. Hold it close to your chest. Memorize that card. Okay. Now put it up to your chest so I can't see it. All right. You're gonna lie to me. The answer is always yes. So if I said, "Is your name Brian?"
Yes.
Do you drive a Honda?
Yes.
Do you work for a bank?
Yes.
Absolutely. Do you have a red or black card?
Yes.
Do you have a red card?
Yes.
Do you have a black card?
Yes.
Do you have a heart?
Yes.
Do you have a diamond?
Yes.
Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any of those?
Yes.
I know you're excited. 7, 8, 9, 10 is higher.
Yes.
Okay. Was it the 7?
Yes.
The 8?
Yes.
The 9?
Yes.
The 10?
Yes.
8 of hearts. Was it the 8 of hearts? Nice. So, you can look at people's facial cues, right?
What's more than that?
So, you do a voice. It's the eye, right? Look left if you're lying, look right if you're remembering. Right if you're telling the truth. Up if you're remembering, down if you're creating. There's all of these like cues that you can create on like what people are doing. You can do it just by the sound of someone's voice, right? Yeah. My biggest secret? That's all bullshit. Yeah. I literally just loaded the deck. I knew what card was on top, and then I handed the one from the top. So you don't have to be Apollo Robbins. You don't have to be this great pickpocket. You don't have to be Kevin Mitnick. You don't even have to be a good social engineer. I suck at talking to people. I am terrible at it. So those guys, they're at the top of their game, right? Me, I'm pretty good. Okay, so the actual cheat codes. You've got Google and people being suckers. Any person can be taken on any day, and any magician will know once you find a mark, you can lead them anywhere. So with Google and all of this, this is the boring stuff I'm not going to cover in my talk. This is OSINT, this is building profiles, this is learning people, LinkedIn scraping, etc. Let's actually talk about the types of social engineering. So fun fact, I got social engineered because I found this talk and they said, if you don't cite your source, we will come after you for copyright infringement. So I don't know if they wanted more publicity, but I did it anyways. So here's all the areas of social engineering. And again, this is bullshit. Magicians as people will try to make themselves look cooler and like, oh, I've mastered this. And like, no, you're just talking yourself up. Like, let's just talk about the easy things in social engineering. You've got the digital, the physical, and the hybrid. So we'll break it into that. Digital being it happened on a computer, physical being I talked to you in person or as a physical attack, something kinetic happened, and a hybrid's where we combine those things. All right, so let's talk about the grid. I'm a huge Tron fan, so like major dork about it. So let's plan an engagement, right? So the customer comes to me and he says, all right, we want to social engineer credentials out of our users. We want you to get VPN access. Sorry, can everyone still hear me? Okay, good. Make sure I'm not too quiet. We want to get VPN access and we want to see how far you can get, right? Bonus points if you can get someone to violate policy. And so our rules of engagement. I'm not allowed to do any romance scams. I can't find someone on Plenty of Fish and then try to get them to give it the password. I can't attack the same person more than 3 times. That's 3 attempts total. Whether I call them twice and answer on the 3rd, I can't call them back, even if I have that in. And then I should utilize phishing, and smishing. So voice phishing, email phishing, SMS phishing, all of that. So what would you guys do? Anyone, how would you pull this engagement off? Anyone want to volunteer?
Start with a bogus email.
All right, email. So let's plan the attack. I figured nothing better than the Area 51 raid at an Air Force conference. Didn't think about that until after I posted the picture, but it was too good. So here's our attack plan. We're going to register a lookalike domain, build a phishing site, generate a QR code, and masquerade as the help desk. This should tick all the boxes. And so this is a high level of what the attack looks like. Introduce myself as Andrew. Talk about slow email. Email is always slow. It always sucks. So everyone wants help with their email. I'm going to send them a phishing email. What if it gets blocked? Well, I'm going to circumvent all the controls your company put in place. I'm going to say to the user, hey, how about I just text you this instead? So I'm going to send them a QR code. Walk the user through downloading QR code, have them scan the QR code. Usually I'll have them download an app from the App Store because it's just an extra little step. Now phones natively do it. They used to not. So I like to say I got them to download my malicious app. Walk the user through the enrollment, build the rapport, and then how can I use that person? All right, so we'll talk about the tools I'm going to use, because this is why everyone's here. It's for the actual arsenal. We're actually going to plan this thing. So how am I going to call this person? I use an app called SpoofCard. So this lets me do voice changing, background noise. I can record the call to give the management, and then I can send it straight to voicemail. So I can say, hey, this is Mike with IT. Can you call me back? I guess I missed you. And now you have a pretext to call back a number that you didn't have before. And then I also use the Burner app for random phone numbers. If I'm operating in a place that is unfamiliar to me or outside the 405, I'll use a 918 phone number. How am I doing on server? Okay, so for the phishing server, you've got the option of Hidden Eye. There's this whole series of servers and projects where you can do these awesome phishing style attacks. Spin it up, you point it to whatever, I'd select Microsoft here. Type in 12. I've modified my instance of Hidden Eye. It's supposed to be local only. I made it so it works on the web, but any number of tools can do this. EvilGenX, it's based on Nginx proxying. So instead of actually spinning up a phishing site, you're pointing someone to a legitimate site, but you're intercepting it in the middle. I'll use this a lot of time on engagements where I'm trying to pull cookies, because this lets me bypass 2-factor authentication. The user still gets the code, I get the creds, I get the cookie, I'm the user. And then GoFish is a full fish platform developed from the guy from, I think, Duo. And it lets you track users, track who clicked, create phishing campaigns, build full campaigns. I tend to not use that one so much because I kind of piecemeal mine together to suit my needs. GoFish is completely open source though, and you can actually modify export headers so that everything looks copacetic and there's nothing wrong. Okay, so now we're going to buy a convincing domain and create an A record, right? Like the 2 Spider-Mans, like, let's get close. I promise whatever your company name is has not registered .email, and I get everyone with that. It just happens. If I don't have the option for company name .email, I'll use a lookalike domain. So a domain that I own is offless email. I replaced the I with an L. Or you can use puny code attacks. Puny code is this weird stuff over here where it looks like garbage, but the browser then interprets it as Google or British Airways or Air France. So once we've got our phishing server stood up, we bought our domain, we modify our DNS record. I missed anything. And now we gotta generate our malicious QR code. So I use this website, QR-code, to build mine. You used to be able to do this in the Social Engineers Toolkit. It's since gone. So I generate that QR code. Anyone want to try it? No? So I generate the QR code to go to my phishing site, and then I'll use the company's logo right in the middle, just as a way to like sell that extra little bit, right? Like, oh, your company's logo's on this? And like, it's gotta be legit. Okay, so let's go back to our attack chain. I'm gonna walk you guys through and give you a little story time. So here's the actual attack chain. I use spoof card, I call the lady, phishing email or text. I send her the QR code, she goes to the phishing site, she gives me her credentials. This is the only time I actually felt bad because I talked to the nicest lady who was in charge of like procurement, and she's the woman that signed the contract to let me do this. We talked about her kids. I talked about just how dumb these computers were, and that I was so sorry. I'm the backend engineer. I don't normally talk to people. I'm sorry if I'm awkward. She's like, no, sweetie, you're fine. Yeah, we're great. We talked about our dogs and everything. So we'll call her Carolyn for this instance. So I call Carolyn, and I say, hey, Carolyn, this is Andrew from IT. Sorry, I borked something. My boss is making me call everyone. Can I help you? Absolutely. Her email sucks. And I'm like, all right, Carolyn, well, here's what we got to do. I'm going to send you an email with a QR code. O365 is broken. The migration was borked. It's all my fault. We're going to get you fixed, though. Okay, my email didn't go through. Crap. Well, all right. We can use your cell phone. This is not company policy, but whatever. So I walk her through downloading the app, and I just go into my IT help phase because I'm an IT guy. So Carolyn downloads a QR code, the app. I walk her through reading it. I have her go through the whole enrollment process. So I've layered this whole approach, right? I didn't just call her and say, what's your password? I created this whole story for her to follow. So I built this rapport. Carolyn and I are best friends. She's telling me like, hey, when you go up to Tulsa, just shoot over to Jinx and check out the aquarium. My grandkids love it. I'm like, awesome. Carolyn, is there anything else I can do to help you? Let's make sure you got AV. And now I've used this control that I built and this rapport, and I say, is anyone else in your office having the problem? And she's like, oh, Jenny is. And I'm like, do you want to transfer me to Jenny? So now Carolyn is so nice. She's helped me with all of this, that now she's going to forward me over to Jenny because this is garbage. And I've talked all the trash in the IT department, and I'm going to fix all of this, and I'm here to be her best friend. Every piece of information helps. So when I learned what AV they had, I can now tailor my payloads if I'm going to do more in-depth phishing. Or now I know that users will pull QR codes, or I can get them to execute things from their phone. So what did we accomplish? We compromised the user credential. Abraham Lincoln, 1885, something with some exclamation points. Really complicated password. She did a great job. I delivered all 3 types of social engineering and then some. The client was very happy, kind of pissed with me. I had this user break the policy because I walked her through as a trusted source, as being someone that is an authority. I said, no, it's fine. I'm IT, you can break the policy to get this to work. And then we then leveraged her to compromise more people. She was the head of her department, I got the whole department. Okay, so that's everything on digital. Any questions on that? Any thoughts? Would I get you guys? All right, physical. This is where I thrive. I love physical security. I love breaking into places. I love lock picking. There's a rush there and an excitement that you just can't get anywhere else. It is a heroin that doesn't exist, and I thank God every day for my job or I'd be in prison. So what is physical pen testing, right? I like to refer to this comic because cybersecurity, we think, let's shore up everything. We're going to have the latest and greatest SIM, and we're going to train our blue team. We're going to pay all this money, and then I walk in, sometimes wearing my alias shirt, and I plug in a USB drive and drop a beacon, and now I've got full compromise of the network, right? So like, why would I spend time working on a 0-day and doing AFCEA bypasses, all this cool tech stuff when I can just walk past the security guard and find an unlocked computer. So the planning phase, I can't remember this guy's name from A-Team. Unfortunately, I'm not that old. So we've got the Recon phase, where we're going to go in and we're going to say use Google Maps or any other tools, the internet, all of our OSINT tools, right? And once we figured out and built a profile of how we're going to attack this person, well, then we're going to create an alias. And once we create an alias, we're going to find a justification for why am I here. So I'm your cable guy, right? But if as your cable guy I walk in, you're going to be like, bro, go home, right? I'm going to give you a reason why I'm there. So you've got your OSINT, your Google Maps, your stakeouts, dry runs. I'll find your competing, like your sister company next door. I'll walk their building. A, B, and C plans, right? So I'm going to go in the front door, security guard, locked. Okay, what's my B plan? What is my C plan? Being able to pivot. It's great to have a plan. Most of the time, I just fly by the seat of my pants. I'm literally leaving here to go rob a bank today, and I have a shirt in my car. Like, that's all I know, and I have an address. So don't be married to your plan, right? You get panicked, you get tunnel vision, you're like, okay, that failed, and you immediately just don't know what to do. That's where magic has actually helped me, where we've learned to say, okay, I messed up, I didn't get the card, or I didn't spot this, or I forgot. Okay, how do I pivot that? And then to actually give value to my customers, I like to do a low, medium, and high skill attack. So I will do a perfect style attack. I'll have one of our younger engineers dress up. He's the Cox guy. He's got the badge. He's got the box. He's got the work order, the signature, everything. A cool trick that we've done in the past is when you get VPN access, now I have this user's email, and I can then grant myself access. And I can have a hybrid attack now where I took that digital thing that I did and now give myself a physical key to get in. Our medium skill attack, maybe we'll have a guy that looks the part the same, right? Maybe he's the Culligan guy, but he didn't have any credentials. He just walks in. I have really started playing the part of the low skill attacker. I just walk in, I wander around, and I just do what I want to do and just kind of see what happens. So we'll create our alias. Here are two examples of ones I've used in the past. If you ever seen those movies where people like acquire things on site, like the guy walks in, he like grabs a hat, grabs a jacket, that's me. We'll talk about how I screwed up. This was a chemical plant in the northeast corner. So climbed a fence, got in. I throw on a hat, the first one I find, throw on my fire-resistant clothing, and I'm good. Except I'm a blue-collar worker in a collared shirt wearing a yellow hat. If you look in the back, there's a white hat. That's because yellow hat means, look out, I'm an idiot. Yeah, like I'm gonna get us blown up, don't let me operate equipment, everyone keep an eye on me. End up switching hats. But a great story here is actually scale the fence, get in, pop the data center, plug in my USB drive, and this tornado siren goes off. And it's loud, and everyone panics. And I don't know where my point of contact is. I'm not supposed to be here. This is their chemical spill alert. Yeah, so methyl mercury is what this plant produced. Yeah, big deal. They just had a leak 3 days before. Turns out someone dialed the wrong number and set off the alarm. But now I have to be this guy, and everyone's looking for my handler, and I've got to roll with it. Ford AV, that one was a little more solid. I'll kind of get into that a little later. All right, so our pro tip, right? Hit your local Goodwills, go to the company store, go on eBay. All this stuff's available. Do not imitate the Postal Service. 6 months in jail. They don't play around. UPS, DHL, all fair game. One good thing that I like to do is I try to find the really old shirts. So I want the like company barbecue shirt, like Crest Summerfest 2015, because no one that doesn't work here is going to have that shirt. All right, so pre-texting, back to my Ford AV, right? Here's my repair work order. What am I here to do? Check access control systems and RFIDs? No, I'm trying to get in your server room. But I'm going to go around that. So, inspect premises for proper door fitment. I walk in. My point of contact conveniently was at lunch. I guess I got lucky. I said, hey, I'm here to do this. And they're like, well, we can't validate you. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna check the outside then, and then once you validate me, I'll come inside. I'm gonna look real weird because I'm gonna be like pulling on doors and stuff, and they're like, okay, we'll let people know. So now I just granted myself access to walk around and try every door. I can come back and try the front door, but really, I'm good. COVID's made this great because you have gatekeepers now. I'm gonna check your temperature, get your name and everything. So people now assume that if the gatekeeper didn't stop you, you're supposed to be here, and I get to run wild.
With a mask on.
So make sure that you have, like, you know what you're going to do, right? I can impersonate an RFID tech because I know RFID. Don't show up as the HVAC guy if you don't know HVAC, because someone's going to school you. Yeah, this instance, I actually did this exact thing. This is for real customers. Showed up as Ford AV, walked around. They helped me out. They were super nice. I got it. So. That's what's inside my field tool, or inside my clipboard. 35mm film. I'm going to throw that through a door. It's a shim. It's a great tool. Screwdriver, because I'm probably going to need that. That piece of folder, a shim. That's a J-turn tool for double doors. So based on my Recon, I saw, okay, they've got a lot of double doors here, and they have a thumb turn, and I just have to unlock them. So I relied heavily on that. When I walked in, they said, hey, are you here with so-and-so security? I'm like, no, I'm here with Ford Audio, but I'm checking this, like, oh, the alarm vendor was here yesterday. And so the next person that comes up, I talk to them, I say, yeah, I'm just following up. I know your alarm vendor was here yesterday. I'm validating everything. All right, so exploiting human nature. Yeah, so appear vulnerable. I am not above showing up with a heavy box and a wheelchair to get in your data center. I will lie to your grandma. I will steal your dog. Like, whatever it takes, I'm getting in. I hate losing. Also, be attractive. I like to think I'm a solid 8. So, people don't want to help ugly people, but if you ever notice that when you dress up a little bit, man, people are super nice to you. Like, maybe sometimes I'll throw on a suit, make sure I've got the close cut, make sure I'm super handsome, and just super nice. Look fast, or look worried, walk fast, right? Just, or if I'm the IT guy, I'm looking at my phone. I don't know where I am. Yeah, I got it. It's a trick. Yeah, I don't know where I am. People tend to not like look for me, right? Look through people. So I'm just gonna walk through, not make eye contact with anyone, and see parts in the crowd, right? Now we have a point of contention in the security team. So everyone in our security team is over 6 feet tall and 200 pounds, except me. So they all like this exude authority thing. I'm not intimidating a lot of people. So one of our engineers will say, like, who's your boss? Well, call him right now. And if you don't let me in, you're gonna be fired. This is your ass. I can't come back. And it's that anger, it's getting people excited. Me, I choose to agree but ignore. We've got this joke about the RJ45 click heard around the world. So we broke into a bank. I cross in, go to the guy that hired me. He left his computer unlocked. I sent him a nice little note. I'm like, okay, I'm done. But it was too easy. So I start walking around asking for help because I want someone to confront me and talk to me. So I talk to the credit guys. I'm like, hey man, I need to get in the server closet. How do I do that? And they're like, oh, we gotta call this guy. Well, this guy says, oh yeah, we gotta wait for my boss. I know he's not coming back for a while. And yeah, you just have to wait. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I wander off. I find a conference room and I start plugging in my Shark jack, which runs Responder. So I click it, plug it in, and I wait, and that line doesn't come up. Well, about this time, the guy that I asked for help comes in. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just checking stuff, it's fine. And he's like, no, you can't do that. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I just gotta get this done. And so I plug it in the next one. And he's like, oh crap, I need someone. He's absolutely right. Someone should be stopping me, but whose job is it? Nobody had defined that. So then they get the IT guy, and he comes in and he says, yeah, no, you're not supposed. And I'm like, yeah, do you know if this jack is live? Like, is there VLAN? Like, what's the deal? Like, and he's like, yeah, you shouldn't be plugging things in. And I'm like, yep. Okay, yeah, now it's purple. And it's just this click, and you just hear it echo in this room. All right, so some of the tools of our trade, I mean, it's not all lockpicks. We use the phone apps, we use physical tools. This is what my typical kit kind of consists of: boroscope, gate tools, shove knives, airbags. Those are awesome. And our engineers have a tendency to like overthink things. So I always tell the younger guys, like, think more dumber, right? Like, don't be the guy that's just talking to talk. Just be an idiot. Like, do you guys want to deal with an idiot? Because if I look like my blood sugar's low, like, are you gonna talk to me? If I just look lost, like, you're probably just gonna let me wander out because you don't want me to like be in there messing things up. So this is my, let me make sure I didn't miss. And then of course, it's not all specialized tools. So it's a lot about like improving and just figuring out on the fly. I've opened a door with a fly swatter that I found on a receptionist's desk. So I stuck it through the gap in the door and shook it a bit. And this is supposed to be like a blast-proof building. That got me in. My EDC approved tools, TSA approved tools, Covert Companion, Sparrow shims. You can use any piece of plastic. I use those because I don't like cutting my hands, they're soft. Sparrows, Tuxedo Kit. These are NFC chips. I like to use my pen and scribble out QR codes and then stick these behind them, so that when you go to scan it, your phone then picks up my Rickroll website. Common keys, you've got CH751, it's the everything key. You've got a rack key, Door King and linear boxes. Ford 1284X, that's the universal cop car key. I dream of the day I can use it or steal a taxi. The most important tool up there is that Shark Jack, that little bitty thing. It looks like it's an RJ45. It runs responder and gets credentials. So that is my go-to when I'm actually like showing impact. A lot of times I don't even really have to do the work. Like there's the key to Mitch's old office. I definitely don't need that tag that says key that says danger. This is a lab. All the chemicals you don't want me touching. Yeah. So, just go around, right? Don't worry about interacting with people, like hacking anyone, social engineering. You have to break in. This is a really cool story. So this bank had biometric locks on everything to get to the secure area. What they also had was the thinnest door I've ever found from their break room and community area into their secure area. What's scarier is in this room, they said that I found the calculator keys that I then used to unlock the lock on the vault. Okay. So, biometric locks, go the hard way? No, I just walked through the storeroom into the secure area. So always take that path of least resistance. So all that stuff, I tend to not really do anymore in terms of social engineering. I follow the gray man philosophy. So I don't really stand out any place. I just try to be antisocial. I try to minimize my interactions. I try to be the IT guy. So I'm gonna be down on my phone. I mean, hey, what's up? But that's my general premise now, is to avoid people. It's scary because like our high skill attacks are failing. People are doing great when they have to follow their script. So when they say like, no, the Cox guy has to talk to the IT guy that then approves them in this. What people don't know how to interact with is a person that steps behind the teller line and starts plugging things in. Or walks over to the Swift machine and like, hey, I'm gonna play with this. Like, no one knows what to do with that guy. One good story we have was a guy I talked to. He did red teaming for the military. And something that he did was, he just looked the part. So when someone was rolling in to say, like, check out a base, he just had on all of his combat gear, he just rolled in right behind him. And then they get up and they're ready to leave, and he's like, oh, by the way, guys, I'm not supposed to be here. That guy's braver than me. All right, so how to practice this? My significant other and my coworkers will attest that I answer every phone call that comes to my phone because I love to troll people. I will keep them on the line as long as I can. So, oh yeah, the kind of car that I have, everything up to giving a credit card, I will do because I just thrive on trolling. But it's a good way to practice. You learn how to lie, you get to be a persona. Lie all the time. So anytime that it isn't important, lie. You need a name for the restaurant, right? Yep, I'm Mike. Andreas, I like that one. Do always use your real name on a physical engagement or social engineering, because you're going to run into that person that knew you from high school and they're going to say, Andy, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm Mike today, crap. Right? And then I always wander around. Wherever I go, I wander around. I made it through so many buildings here just looking for the conference. So you'd be amazed where you wind up. If you have a ladder or clipboard, you get a lot more places. Literally, be a clean-cut dude in a suit, and like the world just opens up for you. So our resources. YouTube, Charisma on Command, great resource. The guy breaks down, here's charismatic leaders, here's people, here's how you interact, and he shows different personality types. So it's not that general, like, throw your chest back and talk and exude, be confident, be attractive. He talks about different types and plays with personalities. Movies, Sneakers is one of my favorites, Catch Me If You Can. TV shows, White Collar, Mr. Robot, Lupin. Mr. Robot has great instances of social engineering and how it works. Podcast, Larry, Darknet Diaries, Catch Me on Secure AF, and then books. Okay, books are hard because everyone recommends them. Influence is a good book on sales, teaches you how to interact with people. The 48 Laws of Power is good, and The Laws of Human Nature. Your social engineering books, they're kind of okay. They're mostly written by people that are just naturally good at this. And they're like, step one, be athletic. I'm like, not natural. So yeah, that's all of it. Any questions, anything I didn't cover? Any thoughts? Tell me how I suck.
What did
Yes?
your fiance think about you lying all the time?
I tell her that I'm honest to a fault, and to date, she hasn't caught me in a lie, so. There's actually a good Red Team story where when I was going to get engaged, Disney has this plan now where you have to like make reservations, and I couldn't get reservations. And I'm like, you do this for a living. You're getting into Disney. So first, I make a phone call to Make-A-Wish. And I'm like, okay, this will definitely solidify my place in hell. So then I'm looking at Disney, and I'm like overlooking everything, and it's a goddamn moat. It's surrounded by water. And I'm like, there are 2 entrances. And I'm like, how am I gonna get in? I've watched all the YouTube videos. Thankfully, I found a ticket, but that was how I red teamed my engagement. You had a question?
Yeah. I'm curious, do you have favorite personas? The little old lady that doesn't know any better, the new hire, or just every engagement different? You're looking for that weak spot.
Some people would accuse me of being a sociopath because I can kind of put on and play the part. I actually just think I suck with people. So I just do what's naturally native to me. I'm really good at tech, and I'm really good at just ignoring people or not bringing anything in. You will tailor things for different environments, and you'll have things that cause you to stand out. And you'll get the guy that his dad did construction, and he'll immediately see through your lie. So it's best to lead with what you know. Like, don't bullshit your story. Any other questions? Yes?
I want to train my coworkers and my family and my parents to not fall prey to your tricks.
I like to think I'm an expert. I mean, I'm up here talking about it. Anyone can fall for anything on any given day. So it's just trying to like see through people. But the training is just the easy attacks, right? The IRS is never calling you. The government's never calling you. No one's ever going to reach out to you and say, give me your password. IT will never say that. And if your company culture is such that your agents are asking for passwords, you're setting yourself for failure. So yeah, everyone's going to fail. I can fail on any given day. Anyone can be scammed. Any other questions? Awesome. That's everything.